Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 131. Day 131, we are in the process of learning how to solve word problems from day 101 through 200. Let's see what we have for today. Here's the question. A train travels at a speed of k kilometers per hour. Of course, we do not know the value of k, obviously, otherwise it would be an arithmetic question. This is an algebra question. It goes k kilometers every hour. Question simply is, how long does it take to travel 200 kilometers? That's all. Well, it goes k kilometers in 1 hour. K kilometers in 1 hour, which means it must go 1 kilometer in 1 over k hour. 1 over k hour. 1/8 of the fraction. For example, if you're traveling, if you're going in a super fast train and that train happens to go 4 kilometers per hour, then 1 kilometer should take 15 minutes. Where is the 15 minutes coming from? 15 minutes coming from the fact that it takes 1 kilometer will take 1 over 4 or 1/4 of an hour. You see, if you're going in a train even faster than that, a train that goes 2 kilometers in 1 hour, how long will it take it to go 1 kilometer? Half an hour. There you go, 1 over 2. 2 kilometers per hour, 1 over 2. 2 is your k. If a train is going, if train happens to go 10 kilometers in 1 hour, then 1 kilometer should take 1/10 of an hour or 6 minutes. You get the idea. But we do not want to go 1 kilometer. We want to go 200 kilometers. So how long should 200 kilometers take? 200 kilometers should take 200 the amount of time. 1 over k times 200 hours. But of course we don't write it like this in algebra. 1 over k times 200. It will be written as 200 over k hours. Which makes perfect sense, because if you were to plug in some numbers, just like we did here, say for example the train is going 50 kilometers per hour. Well, if the train is going 50 kilometers per hour, if you were to plug in 50 for k, now the question reads, a train that travels at the speed of 50 kilometers per hour, how long will that train take to travel 400 kilometers? Well, of course, 4 hours. We want to go 200 kilometers rather. We want to go 200 kilometers at 50 kilometers per hour, which should take 4 hours. Where is the 4 hours coming from? It's coming from the fact that we take the amount of distance that we want to travel, which is 200 kilometers, and divide it by the speed, which is 50 kilometers, and gives you your 4. You see? 200 over 50, 50 is your k right here, 200 over k. That's all. Let's do one more, shall we? Let's do one more. We are done with this one, so I need to erase this thing. I'm going to get rid of it. Here's the next question. What is the distance from town A to town B? What is the distance from town A to town B if it takes X hours to go from A to B? We are told that I left out something, didn't I? if it takes X hours to go from A to B, that's difficult to tell. I left out something very important. What's the distance from town A? What's the distance from town A to town B if it takes X hours to go from A to B at the speed of Y kilometers per hour? Now we can answer this question. Because without knowing how fast you're going, how the hell are we supposed to know how long it's going to take? Just by knowing how far it is, it's not going to tell us how long it takes unless we know how fast we're traveling. So we're traveling Y kilometers per hour. Y kilometers in 1 hour. In 1 hour, we travel Y kilometers. Well, if it's 1 hour we travel Y kilometers, that implies that in 2 hours we must travel 2 times the amount. And in 5 hours we must travel 5 times the amount. 5 kilometers, 5 times Y kilometers. And in 10 hours we must be able to travel 10 times the amount. 10 times Y kilometers. Similarly, since we're not traveling for 2 hours or 5 hours or 10 hours, we're going for X hours. Therefore, in X hours, we should be able to travel X times Y kilometers. There you go, that's your answer, X times Y. X times Y makes perfect sense because if you think about it, if you're going 30 miles an hour, okay, listen carefully, where did mile come from? I switch back and forth. I try to be metric because in case the people in other parts of the world are watching, but in the US we use miles. So miles or kilometers doesn't matter. So if you're going 30 kilometers per hour, and you travel for 5 hours, you would go 150 kilometers. Where did this 150 come from? From 30 times 5, which is what we have here, 30 times 5. You see? Let's plug in numbers here. What is the distance from town A to town B if it takes 5 hours to go from A to B at the speed of 30 kilometers per hour? Well, at 30 kilometers per hour for 5 hours, 30 kilometers per hour for 5 hours, the distance from A to B must be 150 kilometers. You see? So the answer here is X times Y kilometers. X times Y kilometers, that's all. That's all I had for today. I will see you tomorrow on day number 132. 132. Problems are going to get a little bit tricky now. Just a bit more complicated because we are towards the end of easy questions. And then we're going to go into the medium questions. That was the last 131. As I explained to you before, there are 100 questions we're going to do. 100 questions we're going to do from day number 101 through 200 word problems. The first 1/3 are going to be about easy, the next 1/3 are going to be medium, and the last 1/3, 171 through 200, are going to be a little bit more challenging. I'll see you tomorrow on day number 132. Alright?